everyone.
Hello, hi, good evening. Welcome to the problem statement explainer session of ULIP Logixtics Hackathon 2.0. I'll just quickly present my screen and then we can get started. Great. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So to set up the agenda, we will first talk about the overview of the hackathon, the timeline, rewards and benefits, and then we will discuss in detail the technical aspect of the problem statements that are there. We will then also discuss the overall view of the problems faced by the logistics industry of India. For that, we have a special guest speaker with us, and at the end we will take up your queries and answer them. So make sure that whatever queries or whatever concerns you may have with respect to the problem statement or in general the challenges faced by the logistics industry, you start posting them on the comment section. Okay, so to talk more about the hackathon, after the success of first edition of ULIP Logistics Hackathon in 2022, NLDS, who is at the forefront of transforming the logistics sector of India, they are back with another edition, that is Hackathon 2.0, in collaboration with Niti Aayog, Atal Innovation Mission, and Startup India. The main objective of this hackathon is to invite the innovators of India to address the pressing challenges faced by the logistics sector by fostering innovation and creativity. And this hackathon, with respect to who can participate, is very inclusive. It is open to everyone, whether you are a student, a professional, or maybe a startup. It also welcomes freelancers as well. So you can participate and develop groundbreaking solutions that have the potential to innovate the logistics sector of India. Next, if I talk about the timeline, so currently we are in the registration and idea submission phase. So in this phase, you have like 2 to 3 action items that you have to perform. First is you have to register yourself. Second is you have to form a team. You can form a team of up to a maximum of 4 to 5 members. Then you have to, you can attend these live sessions where we talk more about the objective of the hackathon. We invite several speakers and mentors from the industry, so you can get their guidance as well, and it will help you learn and get more insights into what this hackathon is about and what exactly you have to develop and submit as a solution. And so currently the deadline for registration as well as for the idea submission is 25th of October. After that, we'll announce the initial shortlist announcement. That is the initial teams who are shortlisted and who will enter the prototype development phase on 6th of November. And then for the next 20 to 25 days, you will have the time to develop the prototype if you not have already in place. If you already have a prototype or maybe a product in place, maybe you are a startup in this industry for so many years. So in that case, we will have mentor-mentee connects in this phase, and you can connect with industry experts and maybe get some feedback on how you can improvise the existing product. Then the final submissions will close on 1st of December, and where you have to submit the final link of your prototype. As of now, before 25th of October, all you have to submit is only the idea submission. That is, the prototype or the product link may not be ready, so that is also fine. As long as we have your idea submission in the presentation, that works. We'll then announce the top 10 teams on 7th of December, and the grand finale will be held on 20th of December. And these are the rewards and benefits that are associated with this hackathon. We have a total cash prize pool of 20 lakhs, which is divided into 2 categories. One is 5 lakhs to one team for the most innovative solution, and 3 lakhs to winner in the 5 categories. These 5 categories are the 5 problem statements around which we will have a more detailed discussion in the next few minutes. Apart from that, you will also get a chance to connect and network with the industry experts in this, who are in this logistics industry for so many years, and will get feedback on your existing product or prototype or maybe some GTM strategies and all those things. Great. So now to start with the explanation of the problem statement, I would like to invite Rohan to talk, more about the technical aspect of all these 5 problem statements in detail.
Yeah, hello everyone. Firstly, a very warm good evening to all of you. So I'm really happy that I've been invited here to, be part of this session and make contribution to it in whatever little way I can, because it's a very popular saying that logistics is the backbone of any country's development. So I strongly believe that through this initiative we can create a very huge, a very big difference. To not only each other's lives, maybe to our own lives by maybe winning, but also in general as well, because the domain of logistics is quite vast, and the effects it has, the good effects it has, supersede anything that we can think of. So before I even proceed into explaining and delving into the problem statements, I would like to explain the tool that we have been given to tackle this problem statement in this edition of hackathon, right? And that is ULIP, right? So the ULIP tool is actually a unified platform, a unified logistics interface, wherein a lot of different types of powerful APIs have been provided, which make it very, very easy for you as a developer to tackle pressing issues within the logistics landscape. I'll very briefly give an example. So through let's take an example that you're a business or you're developing an idea. Through their LDB, logistics data bank, you can very easily target the freight operation system, and you can track real-time locations of those as well. And they have many types of APIs, like you can predict the ETAs of certain freight management system. Trucks get real-time data on that as well. And that is not what all they're limited to. You can also get data of special economic zones, ports, and those things as well. And this is just the beginning of it, right? With their Vahan and Sarthi APIs, you can get access to vehicle registration and driver license data as well. So you can implement solutions across toll booths and those kind of things as well. And why I'm listing these things is because we should know what kind of tools we actually have in place for us in order to make. So they have this thing called DGFT APIs, FOIS APIs, which help us in tracking import export licenses or tracking freight movement. Then there's also this API called PM Gati Shakti API, which helps us access anything and everything related to the national infrastructure. So that ranges from toll booths, anything in and around national highways, the capacity of them, how much time it will take, real-time tracking, everything. So all of these, then e-challan APIs, Waybill APIs, everything is present and consolidated under this one interface, this one platform called ULIP. So it's very, I believe, pertinent for you all to know what exactly ULIP is and how you can leverage it to actually create a sustainable logistics solution or anything along those lines. So now quickly diving into the problem statement itself. So as you're aware, right, that I mentioned that there are n number of APIs that ULIP provides that can be used. So the biggest thing that we can do for sustainable logistics is like how we can identify through extensive data analytics. Maybe I'm just giving few ideas here. There again, the possibilities are endless, but how technology and innovation and how ULIP can be leveraged to analyze data. And maybe I mentioned the Gati Shakti API, right? The Gati Shakti API, maybe we can perform a comprehensive analysis as to what are the key chokeholds where a lot of vehicles are accumulating, and maybe we can come up with better ways for to divert that traffic or to reduce that traffic. Or maybe we can create an extensive end-to-end portal which manages and tracks all the fuel usage or the carbon consumption of those vehicles through means of ULIP APIs as well, because it already has ways for container and freight tracking as well. So sustainability in logistics should go hand in hand, because when we say that logistics is the backbone of any country's economy, right, at the same time achieving and growing that also means that we have to do it in a sustainable, the cost of sacrificing the sustainability aspect of it. Then we might win the battle, but we're losing the war, because the planet, the nature, and everything in and around us is very important as well. So it's very important for us to think in ways. And the one and the quickest example that I could come up with was that using the Gati Shakti API, or there are other APIs as well, like the e-Challan API, the Vahan and Sarthi API. So maybe you can fetch the data of the folks who you see are maybe violating some things. So we can integrate IoT solutions along with the existing ULIP solutions to create something which is cross-functional. The possibilities are endless with this. Uh, as long as we are able to reduce the carbon footprint, as long as we are able to even make a subtle improvement in what already exists, it's a very huge step. It might look like a small step to us, but it is a very, very huge step, because that compounds. One small step that you can think of that does a very, very minute thing, if compounded over the whole logistics industry, maybe across every toll booth in India, or maybe across every shipping dock in India, you can see how quickly your small idea can compound into creating a very, very huge impact. So I'd quickly like to move on to the next problem statement as well. That is data-driven optimization. So data-driven optimization and business analytics. As I mentioned, right? Can, can you change? Yeah. So yeah, in the meantime, we are figuring things out. I just wanted to add that I can understand, right? Because this event is open for everyone, right? Everyone in the industry, that is ranging from people from academia, professionals, and startups as well, right? So the veterans from academia will have no problem, but I can understand a student might feel slightly intimidated going into building a solution using an SDK or an API kit, uh, and they might feel that they're not up to the task. So I just want to tell you that it's all about coming up with an ingenious idea, and there's a very good existing framework in place which will help you, you know, go very far with that idea if you have one. So no need to feel reserved in that aspect as well. I just thought of adding that as well, because I know that we are having a very diverse crowd for this edition of the Logistics Hackathon. Anyhow, moving on to the data-driven optimization of logistics operations. So just one thing I want to say, ULIP is a trove of data. Just to name off all the things and services it provides, it has the DGFT APIs, the FOIS APIs, LDP APIs, PM Gati Shakti APIs, the VLTS APIs, e-Waybill, e-Challan, and it has the IC Gate APIs, the ACMES APIs, the IWAI APIs, Vahan, Sarthi. These are just to name a few. I have, it's such a huge treasure trove of data that you cannot even put it into words properly. There are so many data points to work with, and any place, anywhere we can get hold of this data, and we can find any trends, any patterns, and we can optimize the existing value chain that exists. you know it starts from the most basic, something from something being packaged to something being delivered. If even one thing can be done very easily, like how fast track they, like nowadays the toll booths, you just go there and the gate opens on its own, right? That was such a small innovation which made such a huge impact, right? Such a big impact. So that's what I'm trying to say, that even a very small or minute data point that you can pick from all of these innumerous number of APIs, if you're able to, I believe will lead to creating a very, very huge impact. And this can be as simple as, right, you can take the data points, take the vehicular data between two toll booths using PM Gati Shakti, and see how we can maybe divert the traffic from one toll booth to another, so as to reduce the congestion. uh, if you notice certain trends happening, that maybe on certain weekends there is more congestion on certain points, making them chokeholds, then we can reduce that as well. It can be something big like that, or it can be something very, very minute and which has a very, very huge impact as well. So just to conclude this, what I want to say is that ULIP by itself is a huge treasure trove of data. Anything within the logistics domain that you can imagine of having a data point, ULIP probably has that already, right? It can be anything. And one more thing I want to say is that you guys might be wondering how you will access the ULIP API and all of those things, right? So currently for the idea submission round, this is just a heads up I want to give to everyone, is that when you go to submit your idea, there will be a PDF which will be downloadable, which provides you basically a high level overview of what all functions, what all APIs, what all functionalities are supported under ULIP, what all arguments you need to pass to those functionalities, what will be returned to you. So it's sort of like a documentation that's already been provided, which you can use to model your solutions. And then later on, once you're shortlisted, maybe you'll get access to the actual APIs as well. So yeah, this is just one thing I wanted to add, just in case anyone ended up having that question. And I'd just like to reiterate the fact that ULIP is a treasure trove of data, and the possibilities for this particular problem statement are genuinely endless. Right? With sustainability, you can only think of so much in so many ways to reduce the carbon footprint and reduce the carbon emission. But with data, the possibility is endless, because that's just how verbose and how big the amount of data it is that is present. Anyways, moving on to the next problem statement. Yeah. So unified documentation and digital transformation. So I mentioned that there are APIs for Indian Customs EDI Gateway, Air Cargo Management System, and e-Challan, e-Waybill, and Indian Waterways Authority of India. All of these have their API supported as well, right? So what I've understood is that there exist a lot of hurdles a person needs to go through within the logistics domain, lot of permits, lot of documentation, lot of verification at each and every point that is required to complete the whole value chain that exists, starting from the very first thing to the very last thing. There are n number of things that are checked, not only at the most grassroots level, but at different levels. So it's not only horizontally scaling, it's vertically as well, that there are multiple levels of checks. And this is where I believe ULIP comes in, and it beautifully provides a tool to solve this problem once and for all. It's just who is ready to seize that opportunity and make something out of it. Why I'm saying that is, I just mentioned these four things, right? The Indian Customs Gateway, the cargo management, the waterways gateway, all of these APIs provide seamless exchange of information. So consider you have a portal or a website where you seamlessly integrate these particular APIs along with the DigiLocker API, right? You can easily validate. Let's say I, as a person working in the logistics industry, maybe I am doing the task of delivering some cargo, right, at this particular moment or something. I have access through the access of DigiLocker. You have access to my information, whereas through access to all the ULIP APIs, you have access to all the business-related and pertinent information, and you can combine those two to create a very flawless and very easy process from start to end for people to fulfill that value chain that exists. It might seem like a daunting task, but I say take it one step at a time. There are so many APIs, like I just told you about 4 odd APIs here, right, within the ULIP documentation. Take your time, go through it, pick one API you like, explore it, go through its documentation, understand what it does, what it returns, and from there I think it'll be a very, very easy journey. Because if you start looking at things from a top level view, right, things will get very complicated very, very fast. We start from building very simple thing, and suddenly we are trying to solve one of the biggest problems in the logistic industry, and that just is not a task for one person to do. It's a task for a team to do over a very well defined period of time. But the idea which can solve that problem can come from one person, can come from two-person, can come from a team, can come from anyone. And this is what you need to do. If you're a startup, you already are actively working on achieving it. If you're a professional, you're already equipped with the tools to work on it and achieve it. And if you're a student, you're in process of learning the skills which can help you achieve and make something out of it. So anyone who's already there already has the right set of skills required to succeed and do well in this initiative, that is the ULIP Logistics Hackathon. It's just that the mindset for each person tackling would be different, right? And that is just all I want to say, that get to know the APIs. I mentioned the 4 APIs. There could be other APIs you can use as well outside of the 4 I mentioned, to ensure end-to-end seamless integration. And not only that, also create, I'll just take very one simple example, right and with that I'll uh, conclude this problem statement. So let's take example of a very simple solution, very simple problem, wherein we order something from a food aggregation app, right? The food delivery guy has to firstly go to the restaurant, they do OTP verification, then they come to our security guards. Our security guards then call us, they check whether we have actually ordered something or not, and then only they reach our flat. But now, what a lot of societies nowadays, at least in cities, have done are that they've created these applications wherein a request is generated and you can just approve or deny that request. So now the time spent on calling is not required anymore. You can just approve or deny a request. So I'm not saying that we need to do something very fancy, because this idea of approving and denying a request that is generated at our entry points, our gates, is a very simple one, but has now been widely adopted across a lot of housing groups and housing societies in cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, and other metro cities as well, right? So that is what I want to tell you is it can be something very, very simple, which can have a very huge impact. So what I just mentioned is a problem that's already been solved, but that's just to give you a source of inspiration to see along which tracks you can think. And that's where I'll conclude for this, and we can move on to the next problem statement, that is operational efficiency and optimization. So everything I've been saying up until this point, right, be it about the things we have access to, the data we have access to, right, or the APIs we have access to, I'll just name all the things, right, quickly. I've just jotted them down on my end and quickly name them, like the real-time container tracking, trade facilitation and compliance, infrastructure information, transportation management, data-driven insights, improved coordination and collaboration. All of these things on a very high level all come under operational efficiency and optimization. So I even, as far as I'm concerned, I even believe that the problem statement 2 and 3 bleed into each other as well, because whatever data-driven insights you can find when implemented properly can help create and achieve operational efficiency and help optimizing existing things as well. So since logistics by itself is such a vast and huge domain, such a complicated domain, I personally, as per my understanding, that is the reason I believe that these two have been broken down into two separate problem statements, because it would be too much if start to end someone had to take everything up from deriving the insights to actually making sense out of them, then creating a product out of them that solves whatever the insights are pointing towards, and then also generating a proper, efficient, and optimized system out of it would have been a too huge of a solution to expect out of a single entity. So that's why this problem set. So I can understand why some people might be confused, who think that why should I go with problem statement number 2? Should I go with problem statement number 4? Depending on whether it's more data driven or whether it's more solution oriented based on the data that you have, you can pick and choose which direction to go in, right? And what I'd suggest is that, and I've been reiterating this quite a lot, right, throughout, before making a call of which problem statement, until and unless you already are a veteran in the industry or have worked very closely in the industry, right, and have already been solving or working on the issues that exist within the industry, right, and trying to make it better already, right, if you're already there, you already know in which of these buckets your solution falls, right? You know exactly where your solution falls, you know exactly what to do, you know exactly what will be applicable, right? But if in case you're someone who's wanting to ideate, right, who's still in the process of figuring out, or who has an idea but does not know where it falls, I'd urge you, I'd request you to, download that PDF. What we'll do is maybe we'll share that PDF as well, so that people and all the participants have a very readily access, are able to readily access it as well, and validate whatever idea you have with what capabilities are provided in that. That PDF is like, if I have to explain in the very simplest terms, right? You're trying to, go into a battle, and that PDF contains the tools you need. So you might know that what you need to do, you might know how you need to do it, and you might have a vague idea, right, of how things might go, might not go. But knowing going into a war, knowing that I have to fight with a sword or with a gun or with whatever, like having the clarity of what tool I have to use, helps me mentally prepare as well, right? If I don't know what tools I'm using, I'll just go in there blindly and I'll be blindsided, right? So what I'd urge everyone and request everyone to do is validate whatever idea you are having with the existing documentation that's been provided. And I think it will not only help you come up with new things you can add to your idea, but it will also open up you new possibilities. Maybe you will come across one API you did not even know existed, right? You did not even know like it was possible to get access to data related to waterworks or waterways, right? So if you did not even know that it's possible for you as a participant of this hackathon later on in the journey of this hackathon to get access to data related to waterways or related to air cargo management, then how could you have modeled a solution for those scenarios, right? It would have never even crossed your mind, because we are limited by our own understanding and understanding of what logistics means and what all logistics is defined to. But it's a very very vast field, and what ULIP has done is made it very very easy and very very approachable to solve any and all problems as of now that might exist within that space. It could be something very simple as real time tracking of containers, seeing why a container is being held up at a toll booth for too long, and generating reports on basis of that, then optimizing it, what is causing containers to held up at toll booths a lot. Maybe it's something related to document verification, which leads into our previous problem statement. Maybe document verification is what takes the most amount of time sometimes at barricades, and that is why. So all of these you see are woven into each other. While trying to optimize, I might find the issue that the issue existed with seamless identity and information exchange. And then if someone already has a solution for that, those solutions can marry each other and create a one big solution that can create a unified logistics ecosystem within the country. And that is what the overall goal is. That is how those themes and these themes have been broken up, right? So this is the theme which I believe supports all the previous themes and carries it together. That's why I gave example and related it with all the three previous themes as well, because whatever you come across in those three themes will come as a solution for whatever you're trying to optimize and make more efficient, right? And with this, I'd like to move on to the final problem statement that we have, I believe. Yeah, which is tech driven logistics innovation. So what this problem statement is, that this problem statement wants to say that ULIP is your canvas and do whatever your mind, your imagination can come up with, right? Because with the advent of AI, ML, and blockchain, IoT, especially, I'd like to focus more on the new up and coming technologies as well, right? Like how big of a stride generative AI has made, and with IoT improving every single day, IoT making new strides, becoming more and more secure, more and more easy to use, and cloud services becoming more and more easy, to they have started offering a lot of free trials as well. So it's very easy to brainstorm, try new things, and leverage these up and coming technologies. Like it's very easy, very very easy to, like I had mentioned, make a website in which we call three APIs, and we call the DigiLocker API, and we verify whether certain things exist or not. That's basic app development, and that's nothing wrong with that. That in itself is a very great idea, and if executed perfectly, can do miracles and wonders, because that is something which does not exist. That's why it's been proposed as a problem statement. So there are definitely challenges in achieving that as well. So I'm not saying it is easy by any means. It is again a very very difficult challenge. What I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get at is that we can blend ULIP with existing technologies such as AI, ML, blockchain, and the most the one I'm most hopeful for is a combination of AI, IoT, and blockchain. Not blockchain, but AI, IoT, and ULIP, or AI, IoT, and blockchain together. Because why I'm saying this is because ML, machine learning, goes hand in hand. But why I'm saying this is that ULIP already is a treasure trove of data, and through IoT we can collect a lot of data as well. So if we are able to come up with IoT kits for inventory management to track inventory related things, that paired with the data of logistics delivery related data, the chokehold related data, and all of those data, why certain things are being held up, why congestion is happening at every point, if we have IoT related data as well. So at every toll booth, if we have IoT related data, even at the warehouses we have IoT related data, that paired with the data that ULIP gives us an access to, can create wonders, right? Because I'm personally a huge fan of anything that's to do with data, because I strongly believe that any solution that we are looking for, right, any solution that we are looking for, any problem that we might have, we the solution for it lies in the data for it that we have. Either we don't have the correct data for it, or if we already have the data for it, then we have just not looked hard enough to find the correct solution. Often the solution lies in the simplest and most beautiful patterns that are hidden within the data. And IoT is one such tool which helps us generate a lot of data. AI helps us, process a lot of data. And then ULIP, as I've already mentioned, is in itself a very, very, very huge treasure trove of data. So what I'm basically saying is that we have sort of created, this huge, a wheel wherein we have a lot of supply of data, and we have ways to consume that data as well to, build a harmonious end-to-end solution. So tech-driven logistics, whatever you can imagine, ULIP is the canvas. You can go crazy with it as well, right? Especially if you're not able to identify where exactly the solution you're thinking of lies out of the four previously explained problem statements, you can try your luck here as well. Because end of the day, you are going to leverage some or other technology. Preferably, it should be some up and coming technology like AI, ML, blockchain, and you will be using ULIP as well, right? So this is the place where your imagination would have no limits. And with this, I just like to wish everyone, best of luck. And I just hope that you all are able to come up with solutions that not only help you succeed and make huge strides within this hackathon, but also help contributing towards uh, India and the economy of India as well. Because I truly believe that by enhancing and improving our existing, the logistics infrastructure, we as a country can achieve a lot. So I just wish everyone who's attending and everyone who sees this in future a very, very, best of luck. And I hope every one of you does really, really well in this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rohan, for such a deep down discussion on each and every problem statement. I hope, from now on, participants have a much more clarity on what they can build and what are the possibilities with respect to the technology and the use cases in each and every problem statement. So, thank you so much for that. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Philip Anthony. He's the head of supply chain management and at Baskin Robbins India, and he will give a brief overview of the overall challenges faced by the logistics sector of India.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Am I audible? I'm just rechecking whether I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And kudos to the people who are organizing, the committee was organizing this particular event. It is very much required at the present scenario where we are facing different challenges in logistics sector, in multiple regions and multiple times and with the multiple products. Indian logistics industry is kind of around 23 to 24 crores, 1,000 crores. Big now, with a lot of investment coming into place, and we contribute around 14 to 15% of total GDP, and there is an annual growth of around 9% which is happening in the industry itself. There are a lot of positives and negatives that happening at the same time. See, the customers at the end who are receiving these products are getting more educated and more aware of the products, and they are more aware of the channel at which they wanted to purchase anything. So earlier there were very limited channels to procure anything, as we all must be purchasing in different channels for our multiple day-to-day requirements. So now it is the customer who decide where to purchase or what channel to purchase. Then obviously the job of a supply chain person to make sure that the products are available at the particular channel where my customer are really looking to purchase from. So then it creates a lot of challenges, and also a lot of opportunities to make sure the product is available at all the places. So when I was going through the entire session what Rohan was telling us, so the sustainability, data optimization, and all the five topics, what the problem statement what he was taking us through, it is all relevant, and I was able to relate multiple solutions which are already available, and the challenges we are facing in a day-to-day activity on this particular problem statements. As such, we owe, like all the supply chain officers or the people must have gone through this particular kind of problem statement and certain solutions to it. To quote a very simple example of the data and other things, what I have very recently have seen, we send a lot of courier to multiple places of India. Last time when I was at the loading dock, when my courier person came in for receiving this particular courier, he came up with a small bag with a small, very small printer along with him. He just scanned the e-way bill copy, and the entire details of the products were available in the printer, and he just started taking printouts of a barcode, and he just stick it on to the each of the cases, and he just scanned it, and the courier started without any kind of a documentation, without need of any written document. This is all done. So this is a very simple example of how this is getting larger every day by day. The data is getting collected everywhere, and it is getting multiple interfaces to communicate between each of them, and they are getting a useful product for a logistics session to use it in their day-to-day activity, and the companies to use it to better their ROI, to better their profitability, and improve their efficiency. So this is whatever the platform ULIP is having a huge potential to do, and it has got a potential to explore much more things, and the data is getting piled up every day, and which can be analyzed for a better solution. So I think it is one of the fantastic opportunity for all the participants to understand and give certain solutions which hopefully should work practically as well. That's what I wish for.
Thank you so much, Philip. You have correctly said that this hackathon, is a perfect opportunity for the innovators across India to showcase their creativity and solutions and problems solving skills, basically. So now, shall we move to the Q&A session? I'll pick up some of the questions that our participants have, dropped in the comment section, and either you or Rohan can take it up based on the nature of the query.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a minute. I'm picking one of the questions. Okay. So we have a question from Dev who says that which manual processes in logistics do you have the highest potential for automation, and what impacts do you expect from that shift? So anyone can take up the question.
Rohan, can I go ahead in this?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll take this. See, there are a lot of manual processes in an industry which happens, whether in terms of warehousing, whether in terms of transportation, whether in terms of freight, and whether it is domestic or export shipments. Depends upon the size of the organization, depends upon the type of commodity, and the way at which the medium at which it is transported or it has been used for. So there is a particular industry. If you are focusing, there can be multiple ways of looking into this particular question. So highest potential is everywhere, which I will say, in all these areas multiple processes are being done. Maybe the unawareness, maybe the unavailability of solutions. So nothing is a smaller process which can be automated. It is always there is a possibility to do this.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the next question. What key performance indicators would you consider essential for a continuous improvement framework in logistics?
Yeah.
So,
So yeah,
Rohan,
I'll take this one. So this I believe is a very broad question, right? Depending on what type of metric actually we're trying to target, right? For example, if I'm working on issues of decongesting, the biggest hotspots in the road network, right? Then my key indicator would be of the solution that what has been the turnaround time for clearing up those hotspots for any vehicles or any freight carrying vehicles uh, within a given amount of time, right? So depending upon the type of solution you're trying to build, the performance indicators can vary a lot, right? What I suggest you to do is that based on what the problem you're trying to solve, try to identify the most basic thing that it should solve. For example, in the scenario I just mentioned, the thing I was focusing on was that there is congestion and it needs to be solved. So the key performance indicator for me in that case would be that whether that the time elapsed between a vehicle being there and vehicle being at the next stop, that I can fetch maybe using any of the ULIPs. If that is reducing categorically over a period of time, then I've achieved something which was not previously done before, or maybe I've identified that and then I'm forwarding it, creating a dashboard, identifying the pain areas, because that is also data driven insights is also a problem statement. So we know it's not like I'll see that data and I have to walk down there and now start installing IoT devices to reduce things. But if I'm able to find this insight that this problem exists, then that in itself can, that itself becomes a key indicator, right? From my framework, the key indicator that it's working is that it's identified that there exists a problem of congestion at certain points, which can now be solved using solutions that other teams have come up with in different tracks for this hackathon. So it's not only about coming up with an end-to-end solution, it's about coming up with a solution that makes sense, firstly, to you. And it's up to you to decide what is that metric, the most smallest, iota, define, call it an atom or whatever, the most indivisible thing that you're trying to solve, and you can build your way on top from that.
Maybe to add
thank
to
you.
Rohan, there is multiple KPIs are being measured across every day or every moment in logistics, starting from the customer side or the operation point of view, whether it's a cost of operating. There are multiple KPIs are there, and there is everywhere there is opportunity to do a continuous improvement, and everywhere there is an opportunity to do something out of the box and bring in also. So that is that makes it a complete answer. I think a framework should be around that. It should not be only a continuous improvement. It should be the out of the box as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Philip, for adding that. Now, moving to the next question. Okay, so how can we effectively track resource consumption across various logistics operation to ensure that everyone is held accountable?
Yeah, I'll take up this one. So, firstly, thank you for asking this question. Right, this actually gives me an opportunity to just reiterate the fact that ULIP is such a powerful platform and tool that it provides so many, APIs, so many functionalities that even the first time I went through its documentation, I was taken aback that if required, I can have access to such a wide variety of data and then use it to create software, or even maybe a combination of software hardware solutions. So there exist innumerable number of APIs, right, that you can use to find data points you did not even know of that existed and you could have had access to, right? The data points are very, very minute data points have also been captured, right? Especially I'd like to take example of I think it's called, I don't want to get the name wrong, the PM Gati Shakti APIs, right? Across the national highway route, each and every place that exists, be it a petrol station, be it anything where a vehicle might stop or something might stop, real-time access to the data across that whole thing is available through ULIP. So talking about resource consumption at various logistics operations, depending on what sector, what vertical within that sector you decide to end up picking, almost be like you've played snakes and ladders, right? So it'll almost be like you're trying to find something and you find the correct ladder, you go up, you find the correct ladder, you go up, and you'll eventually reach to the correct set of tools that will provide you with the data points that you need to solve and get hold of that issue. Now again, I took example of snakes and ladders because at times you might be deviated and a snake might bite you, might come down. You need to find the correct tool to solve this problem, because there are so many options available that you might be blinded. Let's use let's use everything at once, but that can also cause issues of its own. So using very, very specific, because a lot of data is available, finding the right tool. I've already seen a few queries in the chat as well that whether we can provide access to that document as well. We'll ensure that whatever is the next form of communication, or maybe any which way we'll be communicating with you next, we'll be providing that link as well, so that it's already available on the participant dashboard, right? And you all can easily access it there. But we'll also ensure that you guys are able to access it beforehand as well, if and when required. So that will, I believe, that document will be your way into finding out what are the effective ways for tracking everything, and all sorts of questions related to that as well.
Thank you, Rohan. Now moving forward, another question we have. Okay. What are the biggest challenges you have encountered when deploying IoT sensors in logistics, and what solutions would you recommend?
Okay, so I'd like to tackle this problem slightly differently, right? I'll basically share not specific to logistics, just working with IoT sensors in general. I'd like to share, because the problems working with IoT sensors, I don't believe would change across the domain, because when we're talking about IoT is a very, very vast domain in itself, right? So deploying an IoT solution end to end is a completely different ball game, right? From us making something using Arduino or Raspberry Pi that we used to do in our college days, to actually deploying an end-to-end IoT solution is a very different ball game. The set of tools, the set of technologies you require, right? It's not even comparable, because in IoT there comes the issue that one of the biggest pain points related to IoT is that of security, right? When IoT was an up and emerging field, a lot of the times it happened that there were very big hotels who had implemented IoT and all, and their security was being compromised. If one card reader was hacked, then all card readers could have been hacked. So I believe that while working on an IoT solution, obviously our goal is to deploy something end to end, but we should start thinking of firstly what we need to deploy, and the next and the biggest challenge that I feel, that is with deploying, like there was this hoax also going that when you are passing toll booth, people will run and they will scan your RFID and your money will be deducted from Paytm, right? The hoax was going on because IoT, there is a security related concern with IoT. Sometimes people were scared that some kid will run and they will scan your fast tag, and then your money will be deducted from your account, right? So, but FASTag did not allow that. If someone had not made a solution properly, then that would have caused issues. But FASTag had thought of all the scenarios, right? So the biggest challenge I feel in general with deploying an IoT solution is that of security. Other things can, fall into the place itself. That is part of working with the tech stack.
Thank you, Rohan. I'm finding the another question to display on the screen.
Yeah, maybe when you're finding it, see the one challenge what maybe Rohan must have missed out is the cost of implementation is also one thing which what you're trying to resolve and what at what cost it is coming out. See, we have recently done an implementation of an IoT sensor. We have to take temperatures of a particular areas, like around 28 areas across a factory. A man used to go there and read the sensors and write it on a manual thing, and he was going around in every 4 hours. So we had deployed some set of sensors in that to avoid this particular guy's non-productive activity, to make it into a data and then do some analysis. And it came at a it came at a cost of a man hours, not at a fancy cost. So this is also one of the thing when we evaluate multiple solutions in and around related to AI and IoT. It comes with a cost which is much higher than what the problem it is solving. So that may be one of the point you can take it as well.
Thank you, Philip. Okay. So, yes, can you share some successful security protocols that have been implemented in logistics to protect sensitive data while maintaining efficiency?
Yeah, so I'd just like to, this is a very simple question. So the APIs currently within the logistics domain and existence of DigiLocker as well, right? And then payment, the gateways I had mentioned, right? The Indian Customs EDI gateway and the Air Cargo Management System, the Inland Waterways Authority of India, all of those APIs by themselves are secure. Now, how we leverage that data, how we encrypt, we secure is based on our solutions, right? But how these APIs have been built, how DigiLocker, how everything around it has already been built, keeping in mind that this is a very sensitive data and it needs to be kept secure. So the compliances already being followed within the logistics industry are already top notch, because such kind of data, can be very, very sensitive, and can, in wrong hands, right data can do a lot of, chaos as well. So those things already come with, inbuilt, a lot of thought, a lot of security research, right? There's usually, this post called CIS, so Chief Information Security Officers within a lot of organizations, who lead, a team, a very large team of people whose whole and sole responsibility is to create a system which has as less as possible number of vulnerabilities, right? So it's not something, it'll be very tough for me to, quote a single example of a security protocol, but you can, for any software, there is this website called OWASP, and any great software that is built right has usually always ensures, right, be it a banking software, be it a logistics software, be it anything, they always ensure that the top 50, top 100 vulnerabilities mentioned on OWASP never happen in their system. And they don't check it once, they check it every week, they maybe check it every second week, they maybe check it every day, depending on the scale and size of the solution they have built. So what I'd suggest you to do is that if you want to look into some security protocols, some very glaring security protocols, and you're an enthusiast in that aspect as well, maybe, check out OWASP, and that will maybe give you a little bit of insight into the world of security protocols and how they've been implemented. And these are same, and, across all the industries, does not matter logistics, does not matter banking. In fact, under certain industries they're even more stricter, because I took example of banking. As important as logistics is, banking is equally important. Imagine next day you wake up and your bank account is empty. That is also a big issue, right? That does not happen, because they have huge security measures already taken against it, right? So the protocols remain same, just how much it is worth, like Philip mentioned as well, right? Is it worth for me to devote that much time to, secure my data? If I'm not making the most secure solution, then I won't. But if I'm just making, let's say, an application from which I buy and sell products, then I will only spend my time encrypting the debit cards, credit cards, and everything, not other data. I will encrypt other data, but it will not be the top priority. So people prioritize what to encrypt, what not to encrypt based on the solution they're building. And you can check out OWASP. It's the, Bible for anything related to security protocols within software development community.
Thank you, Rohan. Okay. So now next question is, how can we encourage a culture of data-driven decision making among logistics professionals who might be hesitant to adopt such an approach?
So I'll take this particular question because recently we are doing a lot of things in and around this data-driven decision making. To when we do a particular improvement, anytime there is always a pyramid in front of us, which is to track the data, then analyze, and then do a decision based on that, and the improvement happens after that. So whenever there is uh, new change is coming or new decision to be taken, new strategies to be adopted, you have to have a lot of data to be evaluated or analysis, because you are doing you are before you are taking any changes in the particular logistics, because it can affect or it can positively or negatively impact on multiple aspects of it. So the correct collection of data, the organized or structured collection of data, what we always see is as a challenge of getting any kind of analysis done. So you spend a lot of time before decision itself is taken. You spend a lot of time to clean the data, make it structure. So the culture improves from top to bottom in an organization, and it is never observed as a bottoms up. Actually, the people on the bottom should be the cultural barriers in the organization. So they have to be driven in such a way to collect the data and promote them to take decisions according to the data. So it happens with us in the day-to-day activities, maybe doing a lot of unproductive activities at the same time. And this data eventually helps the organization and the professionals to take much better data, which would have been taken after a long do's and trials, and then come to a final conclusion. With the help of data driven decisions, it can be done at the first time itself. That's what this culture will help.
Thank you, Philip. Now, what metrics or methodologies do you think would be effective for assessing emissions reduction strategies in real time?
So again, it's sort of along the same lines related to the metrics question that was previously asked. So I again, to depending on what kind of solution you are building, right, and there can be n number of metrics. The biggest metric of it all is that whether the carbon footprint is reduced or not. But we cannot jump straight away from creating a solution to reducing carbon footprint. There have to be a lot of small steps that need to be taken that, when aggregated together, would give us the desired outcome of reducing the carbon footprint. If one thing I do straight away reduces the carbon footprint of Indian industries and logistic industry, then there is nothing better than that. But that unfortunately might not be the case. So to actually identify whether you are able to reduce the emissions or not, you start again, depending on whether you're a student, professional, or a startup. If you're a startup, you already have a solution that you're actively working on, which has a lot of the things defined. If you're a professional, maybe you are already aware of things that are there within the logistics domain. But if you're a student, you might not be aware of these things. So for people who already know, they already have the metrics in hand. And considering this question is asking for the metrics, I'm assuming this is for people who have not gone down the path, gone down the journey of having created a product, having creating a solution for the domain. So start by identifying the simplest thing that you can track very easily, because it can get very overwhelming very fast trying to reduce five things at the same time, right? The easiest example I can give you is that imagine that you're a YouTuber. You can either have focus on getting more likes, getting more comments, increasing watch time, but focusing on all 4 or 5 things at once, you might start, even if one thing is going well, you will start feeling sad that other thing is not going well, right? So focusing on one thing and seeing that it is going well, and after that only focusing on other things is the key. And there can be many things, right? Many small things, whatever is that iota, the smallest atom for you, for your solution. Identify that first, and build your way up from that. But again, this is very specifically catered to people who, because this question leads me to believe that it's from someone who's going to think of an idea or build something from scratch within this hackathon, and not someone who's already working on a solution or has had a solution for a while within the industry.
Thank you, Rohan. Okay. This is we are a startup and solving the related problem statement. Still, we need to go to GitHub for creating the project.
Okay, so I think there might have been some miscommunication regarding that, Mosaic. The GitHub is just for us, whatever submission you're making, if you have any IP related issues or anything related to that, because you're a startup, you already have a product, so you might have some guidelines and things related in and around that as well. So we don't want you to go to GitHub and create a solution there or creating a project there. And if there are any IP related constraints or concerns you have, which lead you to not being able to share a GitHub profile, you can reach out to our support team and we can get that resolved. The intention is not for you to create a project from scratch and then evaluate it. Whatever existing product or project you have, you can share that link instead of sharing the GitHub link. Because startups usually, why we ask for GitHub is because a lot of the times people don't have real world products in the market. So instead of sharing the link of GitHub or anything, you can share the link of your actual product with us there, and that should solve the issue. Anyhow, if you still persist to face any issues or have any concerns, we'll be more than happy to address them through our support channels as well.
Great. Thank you, Rohan. Okay. Now next we can take just one or two more questions, because many of them are repeated as to what has been already answered. Key performance. Okay. So this is if I am utilizing AI for real-time emission tracking, what potential roadblock should I be prepared for when integrating this technology into various logistics operations?
Okay, so I'll again answer this from perspective of implementing an AI first solution in general. I think this question is domain agnostic, because what we need to do is that whatever data we have access to, right, whatever APIs we have access to, we need to ensure that firstly the solution we are modeling is able to, especially if it's an AI driven solution, it has as less biases as possible, right? The basic things, the basic checklist. And the next thing integrating AI is, right, which I believe, right, again, if this question is coming, the by the type of question it is, I am led to believe that it is from someone who's still exploring as to what they need to build, right, instead of having something already in mind. So I'll be answering along those lines only. That what I suggest you to do is that as and when we go down the journey, right, the very first thing will be procuring the data. So currently, if you're trying to utilize AI for real-time emission tracking, firstly understand what all parameters through the document that I've been mentioning that's available on the participant dashboard. What all parameters are firstly available for you to implement and base that AI on. Next, you need to model your AI solution in and around those parameters, and that would be the first roadblock that you will face, that because you don't actually currently would have, as per my understanding, have access to the actual APIs. You will only have access to the data models of those APIs, and once you're shortlisted based on the quality of your idea, then only will you actually get access to the APIs. So that will be the first roadblock, that coming up and being able to model world class AI model or solution based on just the data models that's provided. And from there, the journey will be easy once you start actually having access to actual data, right? So what I suggest is creating good mock data to build your solutions. That would go a long way, and that would be the very first and biggest roadblock you might face in coming up with a solution from scratch.
Great.
And
Thank you,
obviously,
Rohan.
there are things like price and all as well. But I think I'm answering it more from the perspective that you're starting the journey and not well within the journey of deploying the AI solution or things like that.
Great. Thank you so much, Rohan and Philip. So now that we are at the close, Philip, would you like to say a few, and closure words for our audience?
Uh, See, once again, thank you very much for everyone to be patiently listening. See, even this changes in the logistics industry, which we are seeing from couple of years with the help of data-driven decisions or data analysis and a lot of IoT. There are a lot of words we are recently hearing or listening or actually learning even from today's session also. I'm taking 4 or 5 words, new words which I've never heard of. So I am grateful for that, and this is the right time to do is something in logistics, because the as a country we are expecting a lot of growth, and ULIP is coming to us for as a tool for everything which can be in and around, which can be developed. So I wish all the best to all the participants who are actively doing this particular program. And I thank all the organizers for having me here today, and for their continued sessions ahead as well. And wish you luck for all the future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Philip, and thank you so much, Rohan, and our participants as well for joining us today. Remember, the last date to register and submit your idea for this hackathon is 25th of October, which is approaching. So make sure you do not lose out on the deadline. Thank you so much for joining again. Bye bye.